Let me check my levels. I'm planning on getting highly intoxicated. Jeez. Better have one. All right. Keep them coming until either Mike passes out or I fall over.
Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Tackle Shop Live.
I met you on a sunny day. Right there, you took my breath away. Young and pretty, was it just a dream?
What's up? What's up?
The next day, you called me up. You told me I'm your little buttercup. You came
Carlisle,
over and
how are you, buddy?
into my
Good to
arms.
see you, man. Chris Benninger here.
Well,
Larry
I know
Shope.
what I feel.
Michael Bradley.
Please tell me your love is real.
What is going on, guys? Yo. Jeff Santangelo, how are you, Jeff? Robert Max here. Joseph Cascarino, how are you, buddy? Yeah. Man, we got a great show for you tonight. Jimmy, how are you? Conway. I'll see you, Conway, down at the boat ramp on Sunday. I know that. Yes, sir. Ed Radnowski's here. Mike Hayer. Grimy Fishin, what's up? Scott Van Leer's in the house. Scott, how are you, pal? Good talking with you today. Grimy Fishin, Jack Hinkle. What's up, Jack? Michael Bradley. Man, oh, man. Yes, sir. Charlie Enoch from Canoy Park, watching the baseball. Love it. Randall Miller. Raymond Barton, what's up, man? Good evening to you, pal. Wow, another great edition to Tackle Shop Live here on Thursday nights at 7 o'clock, every Thursday night. And, man, I tell you, we're on the eve of the biggest tournament on the Bay, or man, I don't even know, in the whole area. We're on the eve of the Susquehanna Fishing Tackle Summer Slam is coming up on Saturday or Sunday, and we are fired up for it. We got a huge field starting right now, and if you guys didn't get in yet, there is still time. We have tomorrow and Saturday yet. You can sign up for get registered to fish this tournament. This is a very unique tournament. It's a very fun tournament. We have a really great time down there. It is one you do not want to miss, so you still have some time to jump in. This tournament is cool because the entry fee is a $250 purchase of our major sponsors, Shimano, G Loomis, Jackal, and Power Pro. You can mix and match, get yourself $250 worth of gear, and that puts you in the tournament. So guess what? If you have a horrible day, like we do have every now and then, you know, we all fishermen here. We know what it's like out there. If you have a horrible day, guess what? You win. You win your tackle. You get to keep your tackle, and that is your entry fee. And that's why this tournament is a winning tournament for everyone. And it's very unique that way. And we do it so that we can get all kinds of people to fish a tournament. So let me tell you something. We have a great lineup so far of people that have gotten in. We are at 150 boats right now, and we still have lots of room we have 50 spots left to fill, which we probably are going to get. So we get all kinds of people. We got jet boats. We got you guys have never been there before. We have, I mean, whatever. We got it all. We got husband and wife teams. We've got mother and son teams. We signed one up today. A mother and her son are going to jump in. They were down there last weekend, caught fish, and they are psyched up about that. And so it's a tournament for everybody. You can bring your kids. Whatever. We get all kinds of teams, and it's an event where everybody wins, and that's why we do it. So if you're on the fence, it's no biggie. Get in. We'll help you out at the boat ramp. If you've never fished a tournament before, we can definitely help you. Now, a couple of little things for the guys who are in. Don't forget, blast off starts at 6:30. We got, I think, 5 or 6 flights we're going to send out, and we'll have a sheet for you that when you draw your number, you will definitely know exactly when you're going to blast off, what, with your numbers, when we're going to call your number and everything, and what flight you're in. And then all the weigh-in times will be on that sheet, and all the pertinent information's on that sheet. If you have any problems, there's phone numbers on there to call. If you have any questions, you can call those numbers while you're out fishing, and we will answer the questions, while you're out there. So all that's on there, the off limits areas, everything's on that sheet. So it's really, really explanatory on there. Don't have to worry about that at all. In the morning, when you get there as early as you can. We're going to open up registration at 4:30 a.m. You come up, send one of your team members up to the tent, and you can sign up for the lunker and our option $20 option pot. Lunker's $10. Option pot is $20. You can pay for that at the ramp, and that is 100% payback. First place lunker, and 2 spots for the option pot, 70% and 30%. And then you'll pull your number, you'll get your sheet, you'll know when you're blasting off, and then you guys can go relax and get ready for the blast off. Weigh-in starts at 2:30, and then we have flights coming in every 15 minutes after that. So pretty explanatory on the sheet, pretty easy tournament. If you have any questions, we have plenty of help there. You can ask away, and we will dial you guys in. Don't worry about a thing. It's going to be fun. It's real relaxed. It's a really good time. It's a really great bunch of guys. Now, the other thing I want to tell you is do not wet track when you leave. When you're done fishing, hang out. We do tackle toss, which is a lot of fun. We have a lot of door prizes we're going to give away. So you're going to want to hang out. Don't leave right away. You're going to want to watch the weigh in, hang out the weigh in, and it's just a lot of loads and loads of fun. So the other thing is for all of the riders, if you're going to be parking at the boat ramp, it's a $10 fee. So you'll have to pay a $10 fee to park at the boat ramp. What I recommend you do is meet up somewhere and drive in with your partner. That way you don't have to pay that fee, and it cuts down on all the traffic and all that kind of stuff. You won't be waiting around. You guys will be together the whole way through the launching process. It goes real smooth. Come in, be ready to go. Unbuckle your boat, have everything ready. By the time you come up to the ramp, you'll swing around, back in, drop your boat, and then get out of the way and get up there and park, and the next guy can get in right behind you. So if you have any problems with backing up, we got guys standing there. If somebody can't back up real good, hey, give us a holler. We'll help you back up. We'll get you put in the water. It's not a problem. Trust me, you're going to love it. Okay. So my name is Mike Acord. This is George Acord right here. And behind the camera, back in action, is cameraman Nick. And we are excited to do the show tonight. We got a great topic tonight. We're going to talk about fluking. Saw that a lot on the tournaments last weekend. We are going to bust it down and do a lot of talk on all kinds of fluke fishing.
Well, we're going to talk about at least 10 things that you need to do. And if you're only doing one of them, prepare to have the best year of fishing of your whole life.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's going to be a lot of fun with that.
Hey, Mike. So, I just wanted to know how you prepare for Sunday, you personally, because, you're one of the greatest MCs of a tournament that there is,
Thank you.
And you like certain gargle you use to get that throat ready, or, anything like that.
Well, I've been working it out. It's I do a lot of talking. I do a lot of screaming and hollering. And so I've been working the vocal cords. I've got some good stuff that I've been working on. So I'll be ready. I will be ready for this weigh-in, and it will be a show of all shows. Dave Mercer, I am coming for your job, brother.
Damn.
I'm just throwing it out there. But yeah, we have a good time with the weigh-in, and now everybody that comes up to the weigh-in, we have a great little area where we can take pictures. We'll get pictures for you. We're going to post all the pictures. So So make sure you give us a little time to get you some pictures quick. And it's just a cool event. Everything about it is just great. We just enjoy it, and we love the excitement of the tournament. We love the excitement of weighing the fish in, and the excitement of who's going to win. And don't forget, the winner of this tournament will be coming on to this show. You don't have a choice. You will be on this show. We will help you get on the link and get on here, and you will have to tell us what is going on and how you caught the fish, because that is part of the deal. And we have a great payout, $10,500. It's just a great payout. First place is going to pay $4,000.
I think you rounded down.
Yeah, well, it's $10,000 plus dollars. It's over $10,000. How's that sound?
It's pretty good.
Yeah. So
the other thing too, Mike, is we got GDP going to be with us on Sunday.
Yeah,
and we're going to be going around.
Oh,
and we're going to be doing some live.
Oh,
having a good time, seeing what's going on out there.
Yeah, that's the other thing. You got to be prepared for us, because we come rolling up on you, man. Who knows? I might just jump on the boat with you.
Seen that happen.
Yep. And, discuss what's going on. And we're going to do a live from the water, live Facebook on the water. And we'll be interviewing guys on the water. So that's all a cool part. And, and the weigh-in is going to be streamed live also. So you'll be able to watch the weigh-in for the guys that are out of town or can't make the weigh-in. Hey, just watch it on our Facebook page. And that's going to start at probably 2:15, something like that. We'll get that going, and you'll be able to watch and see how everybody does at the event. Got anything, George?
I have nothing other than weather update. And it's looking like a strong possibility of 0% chance of precipitation.
Ah, love it.
Favorable winds.
Favorable winds.
And the only thing I heard about was just a lot of thunderous hook sets just cracking the whip out there.
So if you hear some rumbling in the distance, it's probably somebody setting a steel on a big giant. Is that what you're saying?
Yep.
It's fixing up to be a pretty good tournament, huh, Nick?
I'm glad you said that, because we said some weights a couple weeks ago, but that was then.
Yeah.
George and Mike, what do you predict?
I'm just going to tell you right now, the winner. Now, I'm not telling you that this is what it would take, but I'm going to tell you what the winner is going to have. The winner is going to be traipsing in the rarefied air of the Dirty 30.
Oh.
And we're actually going to see 28 pounds, 1 ounce.
Oh, my God.
I hope you're right.
With a 7.50 lunker.
Oh, man.
He's got lunker and everything.
That's how it's going down. Mark that down. Write that down.
28-1.
28-1 with a 7.50 lunker. Now, I'm not saying that's what it would take, but that's what's going to happen. We're going to fall down to like 24.50 for second. I can tell you this, last place check, we'll have over 20 pounds.
I love that.
If you ain't got 20 pounds, if you're not on 20 pounds, you might want to take off work tomorrow. Hey, this is what works for me. Call into your boss, tell him there's something wrong with your eyes. Tell him you just don't see yourself coming to work tomorrow.
Oh, there's some smack talk already. Got Walton Cluster to win it all. Well, hey,
you know what's good though, and you guys know this. Anybody that signs up for that tournament could be the one to catch your 28-1.
Oh yeah.
Well, that
outstanding chance.
The thing about this tournament and what we found is, a lot of the people who have never been there, they're really intimidated by going down there. But I'm going to tell you this right now. We always have newbies, okay, that never really fished a tournament before, that never really fished down there before, cracking top 10 all the time.
Absolutely.
I mean, we have guys that been in second place that never fished there, third place, fourth, all the way down through. We've had teams who just they couldn't believe that they did that well, because it's just that kind of place. The guys that know it could stumble, and that happens a lot on that body of water. And the guys that don't really have the full knowledge, that just do things kind of outside the box, so to say, on that body of water, they're the ones that crack them. So anything can happen. Anybody can win. Nick, what are you predicting?
So I like George's weight, and I'm gonna go off of George's weight, but I'm gonna go 4 pounds lighter.
Wow.
I'm gonna go 24-1 because my winner they couldn't find that 7.5.
Yeah.
Somebody did, but
Yeah.
it wasn't the winning bag.
Yeah.
So I'm going 24-1.
Well, they'll be able to check out third place. That's for sure.
I hope you're right, George. I really do.
Well, I think I'll split both you guys in half. I'm going to go with 25 and change to win the tournament. And
let's not get too exact.
Oh, I mean,
what's the change?
All right, 25-6.
I like to make my football wagers like that.
25-6 to win.
I'm overish.
and the winner's going to have Lunker. Winner's going to have Lunker, and it's going to crack the 8-pound mark.
I mean,
whoa.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
That would be superior.
A couple years ago, Mike, we were out there doing our live,
Yeah.
and we seen the Lunker get caught. It was like 7 something.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
Well,
Yeah.
I've spent many years fishing tournaments on the Chesapeake Bay system, a good 40. And the biggest fish I ever saw, Wade, was caught by a gentleman who will be fishing in this tournament. And it was 10-4.
Yeah. There's been lots of 8-pounders.
And it was caught on a shaky head.
No way.
Yeah, I mean, I was there.
10-4.
10-4.
Yeah.
We took a
Roger
weigh-in bag. Took a weigh-in bag and sprayed some water on it and laid the fish on there for a picture. And the fish was literally as wide as the weigh-in bag.
Wow.
Now, I was in a winter league tournament when I saw a 9-1 caught by another guy that's going to be in this tournament, who is a regular on the bag. 9-1.
Wow.
So, I mean, don't kid yourself. Now, you can count the 9s and the 10s on one hand, but the 8s, you're going to need a couple hands. The 7s, you're going to need some help.
See some toes in there. Feet and toes in there.
She's setting up for a tidal water
beat down
extravaganza.
A beat down. And our guys can do it. Our guys can do it. They can come in and bring record-breaking weights in. We've seen it happen many, many times down there. So this is nothing new. So listen, again, if you're on the fence, give us a call, go online, place an order, download your application, email it into us tomorrow or on Saturday, and come up to the tent, pull your number, and you're in the tournament. That's the way that rolls, man. So we're gonna
don't forget the Shimano challenge. We're doing, if the winning bag has a fish that was caught on a Shimano bait, they're going to win one hell of a tackle bag full of Shimano. I'm talking, it's big.
Yeah.
If not, and you're eligible, you have to have your Shimano bait purchase. You have to have a receipt. If you're eligible, we're going to put your name in a hat if no one wins it, and we're going to give it away. It's leaving. It's not coming back.
It's out of here.
It's going back. It's, it's a hell of a collection of high-end baits and a tackle bag. So that's just a little side fun pot. And, there you go.
Absolutely. So there you have it. Susquehanna Fishing Tackle Summer Slam 2024 coming up this weekend. You do not want to miss it. All right, we're going to get this show on the road. We're going to do a little thing we like to call Tackle Talk. Okay. Well, we are a tackle shop, and we love messing with tackle, and we love talking about tackle. George, what in the world are we going to talk about today, and what goodies do you have to show us?
Well, we're going to kind of jump around a little bit. I was watching the Elite tournament last week on Murray.
Oh, yeah.
And I think every single person in the tournament was throwing a fluke all at the same time. I think there was 102 people throwing a fluke at the same time.
Yeah.
So I thought that I would show some unique Zoom Super Fluke colors. Now, there's a lot of great brands out there. You know, you got, I mean, just start naming them. You got them. You got the Big Bite Baits.
Yeah.
You got the Strike King Caffeine.
Yep.
I mean, you've got the Berkeley Power Jerk Shad. I mean, it goes on and on and on. Everybody makes a beautiful fluke bait. But let's not kid ourselves. The Zoom Super Fluke owns the category.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't care what you say you were throwing fluke. And the old color of the day, okay, Crazy Chrome.
You
know, if you look at that, that's a clear bait that is loaded with large silver metal flake.
Beautiful.
You know, and one of the things I like about the fluke is the weight. You can blast this thing out there a long ways if you're fishing it weightless. It'll hold a 5-aught hook if you're around big fish. I mean, this thing is a versatile bait. Matter of fact, tonight's show, guys, we're going to talk about, for those of you just joining us, 10 things that you should be doing with your fluke fishing.
Yeah.
You know, because it's that powerful of a bait. But Crazy Chrome, you know, they were obviously fishing. They had beautiful aerial photos showing the spawning herring.
Yeah.
And they were obviously fishing the herring.
Yeah.
You know, so Crazy Chrome played a big game. A lot of your shad colors, you know, the disco green, you know, on and on. Of course, pearl white. I mean, don't get it wrong. Pearl white is your number one. It's nothing new about this color, but this is, and it has to be pearl white. I'm not talking about white.
Yeah.
I'm talking about pearl white. Okay. Number one color. I don't care where you go. But
it's my number one color.
When you get into those herring lakes, or you get into like specific like bait fish, you know, you need to get into some diversification, you know, and obviously Pro Blue Red Pearl is killer. Now this is an amazing Pro Blue Red Pearl. Okay. You can see the red pearl, pinkish red pearl in the belly.
It is. They
This
nailed
is
that.
a shad killer.
Yeah.
And, you know, I got to go on and on and on. I mean, there's so many custom colors. There's so many specialty colors. And you know what? I would like to go and take you down a few of the new colors that I have made standard in my box. Now, obviously, I'm a pearl white guy. I'm a bubblegum guy, right? Straight up bubblegum. That goes without saying. Those are my two best colors. But what if pearl white and bubblegum went to the movies, had dinner afterwards, and, you know, one thing led to another. And, you know, less than a year later, we had taffy shad. I mean, what if that happened? Well, I'm going to tell you. Taffy shad, you see that clear top with that micro pink flake bubble gum and that pearl belly? More of a white, actually.
It's awesome.
It's not really a pearl, it's a white, okay? But the way that the clear is laid on there, I got to tell you.
Yeah.
It's particularly with the smallmouth. That's like the bomb right there, okay? Taffy.
Awesome.
Now, again, if you go to sfttackle.com, click on Zoom Super Fluke, or just search Super Fluke or Fluke, whatever. There's so many colors. I'm just talking about some cool colors that caught my eye, and then I caught a bunch of fish on them. And I like to share. Let's talk about confetti. Okay, clear base, a little milky, with all kinds of purple, chartreuse, and bubblegum flake. That's all you can look at. I mean, that is crazy. Okay. I didn't even get into smallmouth magic. Didn't go there.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't get into ham bone. Okay. Ham bone is like those pearl white flukes that you found down in your bilge that you forgot about. They turned into what's called ham bone. People pay good money for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got one more down in there. And there one more.
Nope, I got them all.
Oh, you got them all?
Now, obviously, we're going to talk about this tonight, but I wanted to point out some new colors. You know, it's kind of a Zoom theme. We got kind of a little Zoom theme, right?
Yeah.
What
else you got?
Well, let's stick with the Zoom theme.
All right.
So the other stuff that we're throwing this time of the year that's vitally important to our overall happiness is trick worms. Now, what I want to show you here is the trick worm and the Magnum trick worm. Okay. So the trick worm, generally speaking, is about 6 inches. Okay. And the color I'm showing you there is plum apple. Very, very good color. The Magnum trick worm is 7 inches. Of course, it's a lot bulkier. And the color that I'm showing you there is Killer Dawn. Okay. A lot of custom colors in the trick worm and the Magnum trick worm because they are so dominant. You know, shaky head. You know, you got a lot of fish that are post-spawn in a lot of places that are moving offshore.
Yeah.
You're getting out on the brush piles and the ledges and the points, and you know, you're going to work them over with a number of tactics. But one of the tactics you're going to use is a drop shot rig and a Nico rig on those offshore fish. You're going to want that Magnum, a bulky. You're going to be, you know, there's a lot of fishing pressure on these waters. These colors kind of play, right? So the plum apple, you know, the Killer Dawn. Of course, if you could only have like 2 for some reason, you would have plum as opposed to plum apple. You would do plum. Okay.
Yeah.
And you would do green pumpkin. That's if you're only allowed to have 2. Fortunately, this is America.
You buy all you want.
Yeah, we're coming up on some changes.
They make satchels for this.
You can buy as many of these things as you want. And we encourage that. So another one, and this is for all my tidal water fishermen, my good tidal water fishermen friends and colleagues. Candy bug. Okay.
Man, that's a good looking worm.
Think shaky head on tidal water.
That's money there.
You can thank me later. Of course, I mean, we talk about this a lot, merthiolate. Okay. Yeah. And of course, I mean, what good is a straight worm that's not available in Morning Dawn? Okay. Morning Dawn Core. Okay, so trick worm, mag trick worm, super flukes, custom colors.
Love it.
You know, trick out your game. No pun intended. And, you know, catch a lot more fish. You know, parts of the country were pre-spawn, shaky worm on a drop. Parts of the country were spawning, wacky rig, Nico rig. Parts of the country are post spawn, Magnum shaky head, Nico rig. Right? This is your worm. This is your guy. It's a trick worm, for God's sakes. So,
oh yeah,
you know, 'tis the season, and I like to talk about it.
George, I got to ask you a question with that Magnum trick worm. If you're going to Nico rig that, what hook are you going to be using?
Well, I'm going to use a I'm going to use myself. I'm just to tell you what I'm going to use. I'm going to use a Mustad Titan Nico rig / wacky rig hook. It's a straight shank hook with a nylon double weed guard, like a 2-prong weed guard. I'm going to use that hook. And why I buy it with the weed guard is if I'm in an completely open water situation, I can nip that off. It's just take my scissors and snip, and it's gone. But if I get in around wood, brush pile, boat docks,
Grass,
yeah, not just wood, grass.
Yeah.
You know, I like that. It makes me more efficient. My casts are more efficient, and it's a hook that really locks them down. Now, you're going to say, well, you know, I like VMC. Great. They make an awesome hook. As a matter of fact, they make a couple of them. Well, I like Gamakatsu. Awesome. They make a couple of them too. Well, I like, you know, Hayabusa, BKK. Name your brand, Trocart. They all make them. But me, and I'll tell you what caught my eye on this hook. I was watching some tournaments a few years ago, and I'm a huge Jacob Porosnik fan. Always have been. I grew up fishing on the Potomac River and giving him my money in BFLs. Always admired the guy's fishing talent. But a couple years ago, on another circuit, he won $300,000 on that hook.
Dang.
In 1 year.
Golly.
With a spinning rod.
I guess that hook's good enough for me then, huh?
And a Senko. Now, he's always been Senko. Always. You know, and where we're talking about this Magnum trick worm, you know, he's going to insert Senko. And you know what? You all insert favorite bait here. But that hook is bad to the bone. And, you know, you need to have the proper gear to get that done. Now, you can do a lot. There's a lot of medium-powered rods. I'm talking spinning now. Okay, I'm talking about a spinning rod here. There's a lot of medium-power rods that will get it done. You know, we saw Hudnall on, I want to say the Harris chain. Could have been the St. John's. It might have been the St. John's. A couple years ago, in the Elite Series tournament, he was really killing it, wacky rigging with the owner, little short-shanked wacky rig hook, and I believe it was a trick worm. But he was using, and this kind of blew my mind until I saw the rod, but he was using a 7.3 medium light extra fast victory rod. Not necessarily what I would put together for that kind of presentation, until I saw the rod and saw the backbone. So you do have to kind of look at the rods. It's not like going to be a cut and dried thing. But what I like to talk about here, guys, if I may, is what I call power spinning rods. Power finesse, power spinning rods. And I'm not talking about pool cues. I'm talking about rods that have, you know, a medium heavy rating.
Yeah. But
they have a forgiving tip, okay? And there's a lot of them. It's a growing segment, right?
Yeah.
You know, I looked at the Daiwa, and I want to say it has Randy Howe's name on it. It's in the Elite Series. It's a 7.1 medium heavy power spinning. It's called a power finesse, I think. I looked at that when it first came out, and I'm like, yeah, I get this, you know, because I always just went to a casting rod. You know, now keep in mind you're fishing braid.
Yeah.
You know, like 15 braid, and you're putting on like a 12 liter, right? That's the finesse part. You're in a brush pile. You're catching a big fish on a ledge with hard shells, rock. You're in grass. Okay. You need the power and the finesse. Drop shot and boat docks. I mean, in some cases, throwing a fluke. Probably not usually, but throwing a fluke. And of course, Nico, which we talked about and we are talking about. So get your Titan Wacky Nico hook from Mustad. Get your 7mm VMC crossover ring. Put that on with your pliers on your fat worm or your Psycho. We're not ruling out the Psycho. But get something that's a little different. So, I got a couple rods. I talked about the Tatula Elite. I mean, it's nothing new, but it's a great rod. You pick it up, it's light. It's 7.1 medium heavy. It's $189.99. I'm near and dear to Shimano myself and G Loomis, but I fish them all. The Zodius 7-foot medium heavy spinning, the Corrado 7.2 medium heavy spinning, the Victory 7.1 medium heavy spinning. Now, I know I said the 7.3 medium light.
Yeah.
That's an anomaly.
Yeah.
And the new physics. I know I'm bringing this up because cameraman Nick, who you guys don't see a lot on the camera, he is a St. Croix pro staffer, and he loves the rods. And, every now and again, I got to throw a little love out there. But this is the new physics. But what's interesting about it is a 7.3 medium heavy fast, okay, as opposed to an extra fast. A little more versatile.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what am I going to throw in these rods? Well, we're talking about the Nico rig.
Mm-hmm.
Right, Nick? But there's a major trend going on with swimming a small swim bait on a ball head jig. And usually you're going to do that on a medium, but in some circumstances where you're upsizing the hook because of the size of the fish, you're going to a heavier wire hook, you're going to want a power finesse rod. I always have a power finesse spinning rod laying on the deck of my boat. It might be an 853 Loomis. It might be a 7.2 medium heavy Shimano. I have a meeting with my St. Croix rep tomorrow. It might be a 7.3 medium heavy physics after that meeting. See how that goes. Wish me luck. But, look at some of those rods. If you're not already power finesse fishing, think about, putting some finesse in your life around the spawn and the post spawn with the drop shot on the boat docks, on the ledges, on the brush piles, with the Nico rig, on the ledges, with the Magnum worm, with a 1/0 or a 2/0, straight shank Nico hook, like the Titan Wacky or whatever hook you like. They're all great. And, check out some power finesse rods, This rod's pretty cool. It's got a carbon reel seat. It's all carbon. It's a little sporty for some tastes, but
Nice rod.
Got a trigger grip on the rear butt.
Accurate cast makes your cast more accurate.
Yeah, I'm sure it does. But it's a very nice rod. It's light. It's very sensitive.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
it is a special blank on that.
Yeah. So that is kind of what's going on with the worms and the super flukes and the power spinning rods.
Yeah.
Now, I have got for all you mega bass guys. Now I actually hid some of these. They came in right after the show last week. And of course, we're going live with that stuff. I mean, we got bills to pay. These lights don't keep themselves on, right? If you pan over, you'll see the Stallion. And, Stallion likes his paycheck at the end of the week. Okay. So we got bills to pay, right? So, we put that stuff out there, and I want to show it to you. This is the special run color that came out like basically a week ago, and it's called Sakura Coach. Let's get her out of the package, boys. get a close up. You like pink? You like bone?
Yeah, that thing's awesome.
Woo!
That thing's awesome.
Fishin 110. Sakura Goats coach. Going to be a little limited. Like I said, I actually hid some of these baits to save them for this week. And I'm sorry for those of you that didn't get what you wanted, but, you know, we got to spread the love. So Sakura coach, we're talking junior 110. We're talking 110. We're talking Pop Max, Pop X, and a special bait, which is a Dog X. It's called a slide swimmer. It's actually a dog walking bait, very flat profile, a little smaller. Yeah, don't see this one very often in a Respect series.
Mm-hmm.
2 hooks. I'm going to say number 6 hooks.
That's a unique bait.
Very.
Very unique. You don't see those too often.
So that's the latest Respect color. And by latest, I mean they came out about a week ago. But boy took care of you. It's you can't get them online. We don't even put them up because they don't last. Just call us tomorrow. We'll get them right out to you.
There you go. Awesome.
Yeah. So there you have it. Tackle Talk. Oh, you know what I got? I got a special. We ran this special when we had our national launch of the G Loomis GLX, the new version. And what I got is I have a GLX t-shirt. Really nice t-shirt too, man. Nice new GLX logo on the back, gold on black. And a 2-part mesh lining.
High end freaking weighing bag.
Yeah, this is the top of the line, the best they get. This is AccuCall weighing bags. Heavy duty with the mesh liner. All pimped out.
Beautiful.
And what we're going to do is between now and we'll probably run out of supplies by the end of the weekend, but let's just say till they run out. Maybe we'll guarantee tomorrow. We'll guarantee through Saturday at the close of business. If you're questioning next week, call because they may be out. But we're going to buy a GLX. And you know what? We're going to add in the new Walleye series because it's a GLX. So if it's a GLX, not to mix it up and make it confusing, you buy it, give us your shirt size, and that is coming out to you. And that is a $90 value. Okay?
Wow.
Now, those T-shirts were designed around some different shaped people. So I would tend to recommend that you maybe size up one level.
Yeah.
Or else you might look like a blivet.
Unless you're a muscular guy and you like them tight.
Yeah. I mean, if you spend a lot of time in the mirror, we have that size too. And we're not. This is judgment free zone. I mean, we love everybody, right? But it doesn't leave the room, right? You don't have to worry about that. You can talk to Uncle George. I mean, I'm not going to tell anybody. Yeah. So there you go. Had a lot of fun with that segment. I hope you guys enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of cool stuff there. A lot of cool colors. Some of those colors they're custom colors that you can only get a couple times a year. So if you like some of those colors, go onto our website. We have all the colors up there, plus some of the ones that some special colors that George didn't show you. There's a few other ones on there that are all custom colors. They're all on the website, ready to go for you. You can check them out and grab a hold of some of them. And after our Fluke show tonight, you're going to definitely want to grab some of those Fluke colors. So for sure.
10-4.
Yeah. Yeah.
So as I said, I was watching the Murray event. I'm sure, Nick, you were.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Mike.
We watched a lot of it.
I know you were.
Watch a lot of it. Great coverage.
I was locked into the Mother's Day thing,
crazy.
So.
Yeah.
Oh, that drone footage?
That drone footage was sick. I mean, absolutely awesome.
George, have you ever fished Lake Murray?
I never have. We actually have a couple of regular awesome customers that actually stop in the shop here from Lake Murray. Mm-hmm. And they're always bragging it up. Well, guess what? I was talking to one of them on the phone the other day. He was catching up on some of the last riser baits we had and some hooks for him. And I'm like, man, you really got a gem down there, don't you? And he goes, I'm telling you, from February until now, you need to come down and fish. Mm-hmm. He said it is one awesome lake. And, it was voted the #1 lake on Bassmaster for their, they break down the regions. Yeah. It was #1. And I think it was #1 overall.
Yeah.
But it may have just been in the Southeast, but I'm going to say it was overall.
So why I asked you that, and Mike too, did you guys ever see fish kind of hit the surface like they were seeing?
Oh yeah.
As much as they were seeing?
I mean, that herring bite is different.
Right.
It's a different thing. And I mean, personally, it's different than them busting on shad.
It reminded me of striper fish.
Yeah, exactly. It's totally different. Now, George fished a lot down in the Carolinas, and
yeah. When you get a shad spawn, full blown shad spawn. I remember one on Kerr. I've talked about Kerr Reservoir a lot on this show because I spent a lot of time there. I'm telling you, and it's different because the gizzard shad aren't really like in big balls like that. You saw those aerial photos that Mike was talking about.
Yeah, it was freaky.
That one giant school and the fish split it in half.
Yeah.
It was Will Davis Jr.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
that was freaking
cool. It's happening so fast. You can't, by the time you catch a fish and land them, it's over. And if you're messing with a small one, oh, well. But, a small shad spawn, they roll like that.
Well, what you noticed too, Nick, is all those guys were just sitting there cocked and ready. So apparently, if you don't get a bait on it right away, like while they're busting on that and make a really, and then they were saying about the accurate cast. If you didn't make an accurate cast and get on it right away, you couldn't catch them. They're impossible to catch.
It's crazy because one guy said, now he might have been exaggerating one way or the other.
Yeah.
But he said, I literally only made 50 casts today.
Yeah.
Because I was just waiting for the right time to cast. And I'm like, that's hard for me to even fathom.
Well, there's times where I know with gizzard shad and especially in the fall.
Yes.
Where the bass will get on one shad, and they'll just be chasing down one shad and you can throw the tackle box at them and it's just frustrating as hell to catch them. And so a lot of times you'll be fishing and all of a sudden they'll blow up. And if you don't get that cast on that fish, like while he's chasing and make that accurate cast and get right in front of that fish,
you're not getting bit.
You're not getting bit. It's so I get it. I get the sitting there and waiting, because all you have to do is five good casts and they got their limit,
And my last thing I wanted to ask you guys, did you ever I never did this. Did you ever position your boat the way they were to catch those fish?
Shallow, throwing out deep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, they weren't really throwing out deep. They were mega shallow, throwing out a little deeper.
Right.
You know, actually, we showed the stallion with his yellow shirt on here modeling for us a little bit ago, and he fished with Mike and I last year, and it was a spring bite, and it was not a shad spawn, but like a bait fish spawn, and we had to put the boat on the bank. You could not get bit any other way, and then throw out to where these fish had set up like feeding lanes in the current, and these bait fish that were open water spawning. They were rolling past them because they were doing their thing, and the current was taking them where the current was taking them. As I recall, it was raining a little bit, but we had to fish a fluke. We had to cast out like that to get bit, and we caught really big fish.
Yeah.
But I was going to say in the fall around in our part of the world, we experience that a lot, be it on lakes, be it on our Susquehanna River, you know, wherever you have a lot of a specific bait fish, particularly shad, you know, those fish will blow up. And they're not quite as around our parts on gizzard shad. I don't think they're quite as locked into one bait. Mike said, you know, in the fall, we'll catch them chasing one big shad. That's a different venue there. When they're on big shad, not just, you know, what happens with gizzard shad, and I think this is really important, probably the most important thing that I can think of right now, not herring, but gizzard shad. What happens with gizzard shad in the summer months and in the fall months, they spawn on a good year 2-3 times. Okay? I don't know, 4 times, at least 3 times. And if you're on a body of water that has a lot of gizzard shad, and you're, you know, and those fish that's what they're relating to. They're relating to those shad. They are looking up. Right? When we say they're looking up, that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
Here's the key. The better fish will relate to one size class, which is a spawn. So maybe the first spawn, which is bigger, or the second spawn, which is like mid. Very, very rarely, if you have like 3 little spawns of gizzard shad, that little minute fry gizzard shad that you see in September and whatnot, very, very rarely will those bigger fish ever relate to that. And you can be like on gizzard shad, quote unquote, gizzard shad schools all over the place, but only catch your fish in one scenario, which is that particular size class. And the quicker you recognize that on that day and the subsequent days after that, the better off you're going to do. Now, other parts of where we fish a lot of, we'll run into what Mike was referring to, which is big shad. And they might be big gizzards or really big gizzards, or, you know, we have a lot of we're connected to the bay. So we have a lot of migratory stuff going on. We have American shad, hickory shad. We have, you know, herring, not blueback herring, but herring. I guess it would be a blueback herring of some nature. And, you know, these fish migrate to an area to spawn. And then when their young of the year grows up, which is not the same year, it's a couple years, they get the urge to spawn. They have to go to the ocean. So they have to come down through our rivers and down to the sea. And they're bigger. And it's like the Pied Piper. When they're coming through, all the big boys are getting on that. All the big girls are getting on that, because that's the peak best fish there is. And that is the closest that we have to that type of fishery.
Yeah.
And it will be very, very, very specific. And a tiny area will hold a massive amount of fish. And a small amount of bait will hold a massive amount of fish. It's not like gizzard shad where you got to have like big schools. You could be on these little micro schools, and you can literally count the herring or the the American shad that are in those schools. So, I guess that would be the closest we could relate to that around here.
We need to go down there and try that, Nick.
I'm ready. I thought that was cool.
We'll go set the boat up shallow, throw out deep, and be there all ready to go. We'll be all sitting there with our fingers on our triggers, ready to shoot at them.
You know what's cool though? Like for us, if we would just go, you could pretty much pick where you want to go.
Yeah.
But it had to be a frustrating tournament for these pros because if you didn't get the right spots, you weren't catching them.
Yeah, well, those guys were saying, oh, I got a bad boat draw, and he said I got to my, there was so many people on the spots. Well, that lake is like huge. It's a freaking huge lake, and they were complaining because they had a bad draw the first day and they couldn't get on the spot. I mean, come on. And there's some of those guys were sitting next side to side each other fishing.
Happens every time.
That's unreal.
Happens every time. Well, I got some takeaways from that I think will help us.
Yeah.
So here's some notes I scribbled down during that event. Super Fluke, dominant. That's what I wrote down. I wrote down Super Fluke, dominant. Walking baits were critical. Now, being in this tackle industry, if you're not familiar with the Southeast herring fisheries, they like shiny things. They don't call it Carolina Chrome for nothing. If you go to Strike King, they got a whole series of Carolina Chrome. We showed you the crazy Chrome from Zoom, which played hard on that lake. You go to every topwater that we carry in here, and people from around here that come in the shop, they don't buy this color, but there's a reason we carry chrome in every one of those baits, and there's a reason that we go one size bigger than most anybody would throw around here. They like a 125 size, as opposed to like a 100 size or a 110 size. They like a 125 size, super spook, if you will. And they like chrome. So topwater was critical. The riser bait from Jackal. The riser bait from Jackal made its debut 2 years ago, and it was kind of unique. It's a very subtle. We've talked about it numerous times on this show. It's a very, very subtle wake style topwater, and we talked about how it sinks. You throw it on a spinning rod. You can throw it on a casting rod too.
It's amazing how that thing just was a key bait for that.
Well, don't forget a couple years ago on Hartwell, and I believe it was Kenta Kamara was using it as a forward facing bait.
Yeah,
letting it sink.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
since then we've seen the Berkeley Credge.
Yeah.
We've already been told that Strike King, the Strike King guys were throwing the Strike King riser bait.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that's what they're going to call it, though. And I'm sure we'll see a proliferation of riser baits. And you know what I say to Jackal? Bad on you, Jackal.
Yeah.
You had a niche that you had all to yourself.
Didn't capitalize on it for years.
And you didn't deliver.
For years.
You chose to go, different directions with your product launches and do whatever. It's your company. Do what you want to do. But, you stranded retailers like us who've been with you since the day you entered the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? Now you're getting knocked off.
Yep.
Strike King's going to come at you with they might as well call it the Strike King riser bait.
Yeah, the picture we saw, it looks just like it.
Berkeley has the Credge.
Yep.
And unless I don't know what I'm talking about, we're going to see a proliferation of them from Spro.
Yeah.
Oh, I said that.
Oh.
And other companies.
Absolutely.
So, guess what?
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff. Okay.
What was that? How is McKinney rigging his Fluke?
Well,
are we going to talk about that later?
We are.
Okay, we'll wait for that.
We are. You're jumping the hurdle.
The way that thing came through the water, I was like, damn. But that was the other thing. That was the other
it was
thing.
an aggressive retrieve.
Well, that was the other thing about matching the hatch, and which I love the commentary on Bassmaster. I just freaking love it. They break things down so good, and they were saying how important it was to mimic the swim of the herring, the way they swim. They swim in a certain way, and it was a very, very important that when you made your cast that you brought that bait in that retrieve. And I'll tell you, that breakdown was awesome.
It was good stuff.
Yeah.
Now, not everybody was dialed in on that herring bite. There was a good segment of that field that cashed good checks on fry garters. So fry garters are bass that hang around balls of fry that grow pretty quick to the point where they can break out on their own. But everything in the whole entire system wants to eat them. So it's kind of like guarding a bed, only the bed's suspended in the water column, for lack of a better picture. Now, the drop shot played there, and you'll see guys like GDP. You'll see guys like Ed Lowren. They focused on that, okay? You'll also see guys who did it their way. Okay, that made the top 10. Will Davis Jr., shaky head, trick worm, drop shot, jig. Okay, you'll see guys like Jay Securat, who relied heavily on a drop shot, morning dawn color filler worm from Strike King. Not necessarily on the herring, but more on the fry garters. We're going to talk about some different rigging methods, but I found it really interesting that Patrick Waters was nose hooking his fluke.
Yeah.
As opposed to Jay Securat and his, threading style. Mm-hmm. So very interesting, very interesting. But yeah, that was some of the takeaways from that,
Yeah.
And it kind of put us on this whole fluke collision.
Yeah, the takeaway for me was the greatest coverage. That great coverage that they had, that just spectacular coverage, and some of the drama they brought up, and guys can't get on the spots, and how important it was to get on the spot first thing in the morning, and because there again that bite's just a short little bite. And it was important to get the shad spawn. I guess it only lasts so long, because of the sun comes out and that's it. It's over 10 o'clock in the morning. Those guys were, a lot of them had their limits by 8 o'clock.
Well, that's what helped them on the last day, because they had that cloud cover all day.
Oh yeah.
So, it really just made the bite better, but it was funny because the fourth day, you could tell that the commentary, obviously they wanted to be a dramatized tournament.
Yeah.
But it was over in the first hour and a half.
Yeah. Yeah. That guy, he was here. We had him here and he did one of our shows here at the shop. And Patrick Walters is, first of all, he's a really nice guy. But just talking with him, he is a fish freaking head.
Oh yeah.
He talks about things, and he's a Zoom freak. He's been offered all kinds of deals from different bait companies. He keeps turning them down because he's a Zoom guy. He's just a big time Zoom guy, but this just he. He's going to win. He's sometimes, he might have a bad slow start or whatever, but this guy is going to be winning tournaments for a long time because he just really is a fish head. He understands a lot of things about fishing. And it was cool that I guess his first tournament area fished was on that lake, so it brought back a lot of memories for him. But
they were also saying, and I don't know what the secrets are, but they were saying that there's 3 different baits that nobody knows what he's doing. He kind of made modifications or whatever.
Oh yeah.
That for now,
he
has them to himself.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm telling you, the guy thinks like that. He thinks like You just talking with him. We talked to him here, for 2 days, and it's just the things he says. A lot of stuff he holds back, but he says things and lets things slip, and it's like, what the hell?
Well,
are you
he kind of did on live because he was watching his live scope.
Yeah.
And he's seen fish. They popped off the bottom, which they revealed themselves, which, is one of the hardest things to see.
Yeah.
And then he catches one, and he was mad at himself because he caught like a 3.5 when he knew that some of the other fish were bigger. So they're starting to be able to see that's a 3.5, that's a 5.
Did you see how hot he was running that scope?
Yeah.
He had so much interference on that screen. He must have had that dialed up to like.
Why do you think though, George? Because that would drive me nuts.
Well, I was talking to somebody about that, and they were saying that's how they can pick up stuff like on the bottom more. They can read hot spots. It's not necessarily like you're seeing the fish, but they're seeing a certain glow when they turn it up farther. It glows a little better.
Interesting.
And they can see stuff that if it's down where it should be, where you got a clear screen, it doesn't show that. So they can separate. They're not separating it off the bottom, but they're seeing that it's down there because it's just a little hotter. They can.
Well, I believe that
they can tell the hotness of it.
I believe that because I do a ton of river fishing. I have a live scope set up on our jet boat. Mike and I have a.
I'm really good with it.
Yeah, I know it's tremendous.
It's unbelievable how I am with that thing.
You see the hot spots, Mike.
I got it. I got it.
We run ours a little cooler, and you do not see those fish on the bottom.
Yeah.
And when you're in current and shallow water, those fish are on the bottom.
Yeah.
And the only time you see one is if he sees something to chase after and pops up, and you can instantly see that fish pop up. I'm talking 1 to 5 foot of water in a little bit of current, in a river situation on our jet boat. And, when you turn your gain up, that does bother you with the amount of clutter on the screen because it looks like Patrick Walters did. He had his so hot it looked like it was not set up properly.
Yeah.
Well, and I wonder too, it probably has a lot to do with with I don't know what that lake's made of down below, but they know. I'm fishing rock, so I need to have this gain.
Yeah.
Or we just kind of have it set at what it is, and it is what it is.
What do we run ours at?
It depends. Like I like to take it up. I'll take it up to where it's like really clear. And I can, even in that shallow water, I can look out 100 feet. Not that I want to, but then I like to go beyond that to where it starts to get a little fuzzy, but I don't like to go beyond that. So it depends. It's going to be anywhere from 68 to 72. You start getting into the high 70s. Now, here's an interesting thing. There's also what's called a color limit setting on Garmin, where it's a filter, for lack of a better scientific term or technical term, where I can take my sensitivity up, way up, and then I can take my color limit up and filter all that interference out. The problem is you're defeating the purpose of what you're trying to do in shallow water because you're also filtering out those hot spots that you're looking for. For so far in my life, me and Mike, in our experience, we like it to be a little cleaner because we're more relying on it for objects than fish in that shallow water. Most of the time you don't see them. If anybody ever says, they're fishing in that current and 3 to 5 foot of water and they're seeing fish all day long, there's 2 possible options here. One's not good.
Well, the Palma can tell a difference. You know what I mean? When we were out with him, he could tell a difference. He said it was like a bowling ball rolling across the bottom. He could tell.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, he could tell it.
Yeah, well, whereas those guys have got, for every hour me and you have, they have 100 hours.
That's what I'm saying. There's guys that have that on there that they can, they could say, well, oh look right there's one, and we're going,
But don't miss the point here. The point is the shallow water.
Yeah, no, I got you.
Hottening up the unit, which is what I watched it.
Yeah.
Every time I saw his live scope, I'm like, but